We just had two songs playing by the two artists who were just here, being interviewed by at It's Barry Mo. But we call him Brother Barry when he throws it down like that. Yes, and we even had her praying for the nation, and Lord knows we need prayers. Meanwhile, in studio we have another segment. We have, I don't even know what to call it, but you'll know, it's very inspirational. This lady has traveled some ways. Her name is Jackie, and she has a beautiful, beautiful accent. So already you have something to look forward to. She runs an organization called Young Mom Diaries. Yes? Yes. Yeah. All right. Welcome to studio, Jackie.
Thank you.
You look very, very lovely.
Thank you. You too.
Tell me about yourself.
Well, I am a blogger, and I basically blog about being a young mom and the struggles of being a young mom, and how society looks at young moms, and how, as a young mom, I can inspire other young mothers to be able to overcome what the society throws at them. Yeah.
All right. So what? I was going to ask you, what inspired you, but I'm guessing it's a personal situation.
Yes, yes.
Tell me about that.
So when I was in Form 3, I got pregnant with my first baby. And I faced so much stigma of how to go back to school, how to study, and how to have a baby. Not really how, but like the timing, timing was wrong. But what I realized in life is that there's never the right time for anything, and even when life gives you lemons, you just make lemonade.
That's very wise. Very, very wise. All right, tell me about how you're okay, where do you live? Because I want to frame this question a type of way, but I kind of need to know where you're based, because you're doing it at home, right?
Well, I live in the UK, and I basically blog from home. And as much as I live in the UK, I want to reach out to the Kenyan audience, because I feel like in the UK there's enough help there, and knowing the best of both worlds, I feel like that help needs to come this way, because there's not enough help for the young moms here, and they need that help and that guidance to continue on with their life. Because personally, as much as I blog, I also study from home, and I haven't finished, and I haven't finished my education, and I haven't reached the level that I want to reach in my life. Because as much as I have children, as I said previously, I haven't I haven't completed where I want to reach. I want to reach to be able to work and have these children, and these children to look up to me and say that my mom is working as much as I had them young. They know that I'm able to continue with them.
Can I just give you a shout out? Just an amazing, hardworking mom. Yes, I know you feel that you haven't reached, but I can see where you're at, and it's so much farther from maybe where someone else wants to be. Maybe someone is aspiring to be you when they grow up. I want to be like Jackie when I grow up. So yeah, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the steps that you're taking and things like this.
Thank
you.
Tell
me, how is it targeting a Kenyan audience away from Kenya?
Well, it's, as I said, the internet, everyone is connected to the internet nowadays. And as the Kenyan, the internet is growing within Kenya, so many people are being able to connect through the internet. So as I blog, people can message me and ask me about what their concerns are, and I'm able to answer them back. The only hindrance, I would say, is that if someone wants to talk to you physically, because there's some things that you might not be able to explain on a message or on a phone call, and you want to talk to the person face to face, and comfort them, because there's some things that people go through and they need that comforting, and they need someone to tell them it's gonna be okay, it's just right now. Because even in life in general, that there's so many things that we have to go through, and sometimes you just need someone to talk to, and I feel like I want to be that person that people can be able to talk to.
Does blogging pay?
No, it doesn't.
We all up in here saying, how internet is the future. So I imagine maybe in the UK in the diaspora. You just sit and make money at home off your computer, off tapping on keyboards.
Well, there are people who can make money off of blogging, but like as per now, you know, like when you're starting off, you have to first get the audience and you have to get the sponsors before you're able to get the payment, you know. So like as per now, it doesn't pay, you know. This is just something I do, like my passion, yeah.
Okay. You told me your biggest challenge is maybe connecting physically to the person. Where do you want yourself to be maybe a time like this next year?
A time like this next year, I would want myself to have grown enough so that I'd be able to like travel to and from, so that I can be able to connect with these people, like to have seminars and to be able to speak to a wider audience, because some of the issues I talk about even on my blog are just not just for young moms but as women in general. So like I would want like to be able to make conferences that people can be able to come and ask questions and interact with other people as well who have had similar experiences. Yeah, that's where I would want to see myself.
How do you sustain yourself?
How do I sustain myself?
Yeah, because if the blogging isn't really cashing out just yet, how do you sustain yourself?
Well, at the moment, it's just my mom, really. It's just my mom. She's really been a big help in my life. Like, I don't know where I'd be without her. Like, it's just her, really, yeah.
Can we say hi to Mommy Jackie?
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mommy Jackie. All right. Now, we are approaching elections. At a time like this, next week, we would be knowing what's happening. We'd have voted and have had the results come in. And I have this conversation a lot with people, but they kind of go blank on me because they don't understand. I tell them, you are in Kenya, and when you're in Kenya, you feel very... And we started off the show, let me start here. We started off the show being like, you can feel very... under any circumstance, you can be a very different person. Yeah. So I say this, but I know I can be guilty of it. So I say we can be very entitled as part of this community. I think I deserve this. I think I deserve this again. Under any circumstance, I will probably be very guilty of being entitled. Yeah. But once you leave Kenyan soil, it's a different thing. Yeah. You're no longer a part of this community. Yeah. So you'll not talk to your neighbor, or you'll talk to your neighbor in a certain way. Yeah. Now you're just black. Yeah. You're not Kenyan and this tribe. You're just now black, and people will address you just by being black. So how is it living in diaspora, or living in the UK, or whatever, living away from home and having that type of situation, being seen as, you know, black, and people thinking that Africa is a country and South Africa is the capital city? What I would say is that when it comes to like Africa being a country and South Africa being the capital city, I wouldn't blame it on them, because that's what they're shown on the TV. Because when the TV comes on, you're like seeing these advertisements for feed a child for 50 cents a day. Even if you saw that about white people, wouldn't you feel the same way? Especially on these BET like channels, and UNICEF, there's always that fly on the child's nose. Exactly. And do they look how? I mean, guys, like, please, we're healthy also. Like, yes, there are people who are like this, but yes, there are people. We live in houses too. Yeah, because there is a day I went to school. I was in high school there, and a person asked me, do you guys live in mud huts? Because that's what they see. So it took me aback of ignorance, but that's what they see, and like you can't blame it entirely on them, because that's what they're shown. And even us, we think that, oh, when you go to US it's so good, and that's what we see, but that's not the truth. You know, every country has its problems, and every country has its good parts as well. So it's the same on both sides, because everyone is like, oh my God, you're in the UK, oh my God. But even them, they have like ghettos and slums, you know, not necessarily slums or mabati, but like even them, they have their type of lower class people, you know. So it's not everything that's glitz and glam. Can we like focus on maybe the reception of how it speaks to our patriotism, and maybe how we should love each other, perhaps? Yeah, because what I would say is that, like, I'm not saying that white people are racist or anything, especially in the UK. I feel like the UK is a better place than America, because
in the UK, police are not allowed to carry guns. They have to, like, guns.
Really?
Yeah, guns are issued, like, if it's like a special mission, that's when the guns are issued. But the police are not allowed to carry guns. No. So you can't find, or someone has been accidentally shot because they're not allowed to carry guns. So it's not as bad as America, but there is those subtle racisms, and even us, like, as black people, it's like we've become accustomed to those racism, because not racisms, but like the racist people, like, it's not racist, but like the way that they treat us. And even us, like, I feel even us as Africans and even us as black people, we're already used to that, because I was watching something the other day, and this person was saying that if you went to a bank, and it was like, you in the UK, and you went to a bank and you saw a black person removing so much money from their bag and banking that money, you would think that person stole that money. But if you saw a white person doing the same thing, you wouldn't even think twice. You'd say, oh, that person earned their money. And that's exactly what the media does to us as well. And it makes us think like that. You know, so we can't say that it's entirely on them. It's even us. We have that racism towards ourselves. And like, as you said earlier, like, about elections and about like us as people, like, we should love each other, because when I am in the UK, like, even I told you earlier before the show that like, when I see a black person on the road, I say hi to them. Especially where I live, there's not that many black people, so I say hi to the person. So I think I know a few black people in my area, so I say hi to them. Now they know me, you know, hi, like the hi person. So like, when I'm there, I want to connect with my people, you know, the black people, not necessarily Kenyan or anything. But like, when I come here, like, we're already divided again. Like, there I'm divided by the color of my skin. When I come home, I'm divided by my surname or something, you know. So like, it's very hard, because you're like, where am I accepted? Where will I feel at home, you know? And as I was saying even before the show, that like, Arab people, even Asian people, when they're in Asia, like, they all love each other, you know. Even when they're in the UK, like, you see these people, they're the ones who are prospering. And why aren't Africans prospering? Because we're not helping each other. And even when we come home, we're not helping each other, you know. And we can't blame the state of our country on the white people coming to colonize us. Because if we look at the same time in Japan, when it was World War II, they had the Hiroshima bomb, and it flattened the whole place, you know. And right now, where's Japan? It's among the fastest growing economies, and it's so high up, and people respect Japanese things, you know, like their cars, you know. And it's such a shame that we cannot grow in the same rate because of corruption, because of tribalism, you know, nepotism. I'm not saying that white people don't have that, but like, I don't know, like, where we went wrong as Africans, because we were never like this. Before even they came, we were never like this. We always used to help each other. But what happened to us, you know? And that's where we fail, because when we're away, we're divided. When we're at home, we're divided. But if we all came together, how far would we be?
Have you ever considered being a leader? Going into politics?
You know, like, as I've seen, like, politics, I don't know, it's a very tricky thing, because there are very good people out there. There are very good people out there, but like, the worst ones are the ones that people want to put into power. And like, I feel like as people, we should like really research. Like, for example, I went to visit let's say my grandma, and like, I saw them, they were like, this person won last time, so we'll put him back this time. As in, and I'm like, what did he even do, you know? Like, do you even know his policies? Have you read what he's gonna do? Do you know exactly where he wants us to go? Do you know how he wants us to grow? Like, people are not concerned with what they want to do. They're not interested in what they've done. They're looking at, again, division. They're looking at the tribe, the name of this person, but what has that person done? You know, like, personally, I'm not concerned with what your name is or where you come from, you know. I'm concerned about what your mindset is for this country, you know. Yeah.
Yes, okay. I think you should get into politics. Like, slowly, look at your face. Like,
No.
like, no.
No.
Think about it though. All right, coming back to the blog, how is the Kenyan readership?
Well, they kind of read it because I would say like I'm friends with Kenyan people on Facebook. So like I try and when I post on my blog, I try and post as well on my Facebook, and people read it. And I also have a Facebook page as well, and people also read it on that page. So I would say that the reception has been really good. Like I haven't had any like really negative stuff about it, but also at the same time, like I feel like I would want people to read more. Like I feel like people, they want to watch videos and stuff, and there's so many good blogs. Even I have a friend of mine who's a blogger, and she does a really nice blog about fashion and stuff, and I feel like people want to look at pictures, you know. Even in books, we want to read the magazine, we don't even read, we look at the pictures. I don't have pictures on my page because I can't, like, how will I picture everything, you know? I can only write, and I feel like people should get into reading more. Yeah.
Okay, but I am very guilty of liking videos and things, mostly because I'm very stimulated by audiovisual.
Yeah.
And I'd like to get content while doing something else.
Yeah.
So if I'm fixing something to eat, it's running in the background so I can listen to it and things like that. Would you consider maybe conveying your message in another type of way?
I have considered it, but you know, like, as I told you, as even you asked me, that blogging doesn't pay. So like, to be able to like make those videos, you have to get money, you know. So like, I'm only relying on my mother, and like, she can only do so much for me. So like, for me to be able to make those videos, I need the revenue. So like, that would have to wait for now. I can do, you know, you're told even in the Bible, it's make do like with what you have. So that's what I have, and I'm using that, what I have, to do what I can.
You said you're studying. What are you studying for?
I'm studying biomedical science.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's get to science. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, are you gonna take biomedical science and run with it? Is that what's gonna happen? Is this your career? This is where your revenue's coming from?
That's gonna be my career.
Spilling into now blogging. So this one is gonna support the other.
Yeah.
Is there one time maybe you'll put one aside, if you had to pick and choose, let's say?
Well, I love speaking to people. So like, if I had to pick or choose, I would choose speaking to people and getting to know people. I feel like I'm a people person, so I feel like I would choose that. But at the same time, like, in our society, like, these things sometimes they don't pay. Some people are very lucky and they get paid. Like, some people just sit at home with their camera and take YouTube videos and they get paid so well. But like, right now, there's not that much. Especially, I feel like my auntie, she's a blogger. She blogs for, she has this website, it's called Mommy Tales, and she has a big following, and like, she told me that she can't do that alone because Kenyan people, not in a bad way, they're stingy. They don't want to give out their money to support these people. But like, if you go to like US, these people are just sitting at home making videos, and they get so much money from their sponsors. And this is something important. I'm not saying that those videos are not important, but this is something important, and she can't just sit at home and do it. Sometimes she has to go for weeks without writing anything because she's so busy with her other job, you know. So
okay, in the defense of Kenyans, I think that there are people who've been a bit scarred. You have people coming up saying, oh, I'm sick, oh, let's do a Harambe, let's get some monies, send me to India and I get fixed. Meanwhile, they went and it was lit, it was turned, they went shopping, they're taking selfies on a hospital bed, but somewhere in they've zoomed on a Zara, you know? So I think we kind of have to give them the benefit of the doubt. They've been scarred a bit. But you mentioned something about speaking. Would you be on the motivational speaking type of way, or would you be behind the scenes, sort of like behind
it's a bit of both, because you know, you can't always have the spotlight, and at the same time you can't always be behind the scenes, you know. You have to start from somewhere. So if it's even shadowing someone, that's okay, because everything that you do, even you personally, you had to start from somewhere before you were able to speak here right now. So you have to start from somewhere.
Do you have a mentor?
I do, but I wouldn't say like my mentor is physical, like a person who talks to me or something. I would say like I just interest myself with like a lot of I'm not a reader. I wouldn't say I'm a reader, but like as you said, you like to be stimulated. So I watch a lot of stuff that will help me, and I do read a bit of things that will benefit me and will help me grow as a person. So that's what I do.
Isn't that kind of like a double negative? You're not a reader, but you write.
I know. It's really funny because I found it that, as in, I read stuff that is interesting. So like, if something is interesting, I will read it. So I try and write interesting stuff because I will read an interesting thing. So I try and write interesting stuff myself, you know. I try and write something that, like, someone will hear it in your head. You know, like, I try and write, like, I'm talking to someone. So I'm like, when I'm writing, I'm talking to myself. So when someone reads it, they can be like, oh, this person is talking to me, you know. They can hear it in their head. I don't want it to be like a lullaby, you know. Yeah.
All right. I want you to give us your social media handles. First, yes, give us your social media, like your Facebook, where we can find you, your website
Facebook
name.
is Young Mom Diaries. The website is youngmomdiaries.org. I think that's, and there's Instagram as well, which is Young Mom Diaries again. Yeah.
You don't want us to follow your personal one, no?
My personal one, as in, what I try to do is like, I try not to mix like my personal self with like that, because you know, like when you're with your friends, you can make like jokes and stuff. Not that you can't make jokes on this, but like that's me. Like that's me away from the business, you know. It's not about business, but that's me away from my organization, you know. That's, you have to sometimes, when you're doing business, like even numbers, you shouldn't have your personal number be your business number, because someone can call you and you'll be like, hey, and like that's not how you should respond on like a business call, you know. So like, I don't like to mix my personal life with what I do. Not that I do anything wrong, you know, not that I have like some weird pictures or anything. No, it's just that I just like to separate myself from that. Yeah.
Do you have a number you can give us?
I don't know it offhand. I don't know it offhand, honestly.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
You'll give it to me later,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
maybe one of us at It's Barrymore at Shiko Kaitani can give the audience. Yeah.
No problem.
All right. Now, I know we spoke about the elections and how it is of being away from home and being at home and the kind of trying to find your place in both worlds. But I want you to target a specific message, telling the youth to just, you know, just love guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the issue is not even with our generation. This is more of something like a past generation thing. And it's the same thing with kind of racism, you know. Like a baby, like my daughter, I take her to school. She plays with everybody. She doesn't know someone who's disabled. She doesn't know someone who's blind. She doesn't know black or white. You know, she doesn't know anything. She tells me, she came home one day, she told me, Mommy, I'm brown. And even I wrote about that on my blog. I was like, why are we called black though? You know, black is the color of my hair.
Yes,
yeah,
this is
but
black.
this is brown, you know. I'm chocolate, I'm not black. So like, that's something even us, like, why do we call ourselves black? Because they called us black first, because they thought our skin was dirty, you know. We're not black, we're chocolate, we're brown, you know. So like, a baby doesn't know when this person is disabled or blind or anything. They don't know anything. But it's what I will tell her. I'll tell her, don't go and play with that boy because he's white. Don't do this because they have this behavior, you know.
Cooties.
And
Cooties.
yeah. So like the same thing with us, like we're told, you know, that tribe, you know, they do this, no. And that's exactly what passes down, you know. And like before, because I was having this conversation even with my granddad, I was like, where did tribalism start? And he told me tribalism didn't start that long ago, because my auntie, she was explaining to me when she was in school that, like, for her, she didn't know what the surname meant. She didn't know that my name means this and this, or it means that I'm of this tribe. She just knew we're all the same, we're all black, and these people are white. So it didn't start that long ago, and our generation, I feel, is not that much into that tribalism, because you'll meet someone when you've gone out and you become friends with them, you don't want to even know their names. So it's up to us as youth to continue that trend, you know. And the more that we continue that, the more that even our kids will see that there's nothing wrong with having a different name. You know, we're all under one banner. We're all Kenyans. You know, we all speak Swahili, and some of us speak English, but like, we are all the same. You understand? So I feel like with our generation, it's not that much, but with like our parents' generation, that's where the issue is, and they're trying to pass it on to us, but it's us to refuse that. It's us, as you said, to love one another. Yeah.
You have some type of wisdom beyond your years. Like, I don't understand where it's coming from. I think that's the most, okay, all right. I'm sure at its Barrymore it's going to tell you the same thing when you leave here. That is very... We have never had a message package like that before, that we're inheriting, we're trying to inherit things that don't belong to us. Okay, to inherit, in short. All right, you want to say hi to someone before we leave?
Not really. Hello, everybody. You know. Yeah.
We're good?
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thank you, Why in the Morning family, for catching this interview. We just had Jackie, the CEO and founder of Young Mom Diaries. You can find, sounds good though, CEO and founder, right?
I know that's self-given title. You know, before we go, there's this book, it's called The Secret, and I've not read it, but my cousin was explaining it to me that in your life, there's this man, he was explaining in The Secret that the man, he had a sticky note and he put it on top of his ceiling and he wrote, I want to get $100,000 per annum. And he wrote it at the top. And every morning when he woke up, he saw that sticky note. So sometimes in life, you have to write something to be able to not really write, but you have to put something somewhere that you can be able to see it and put that goal in your head. So, you know, that's self-given title so that it can come to do, because he was saying that you have to speak to the universe. And when you speak to the universe, that the universe will hear you and put it in action. And that's exactly what happened to him, that he ended up going somewhere because he used to go, I don't know, to a cafe or something every day. And when he went to that cafe, he saw the idea. And the first year he made 80, and the next year he made 100.
Yeah, it's a lot of attraction.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to close the interview. Guys, thank you for watching the interview with the CEO and founder of Young Mom Diaries, Jackie. She has one name like Madonna. No, I lie. But her name is Jackie. You can check out at Young Mom Diaries on everything, on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes, and she gave us her contact details and situations. Meanwhile, we will be back with more of Why in the Morning. Again, our social media handles are at Y254 on Facebook, Y254 TV on Instagram, Y254 channel on Twitter, and you can hit me up on at Shiko Kaitani or at It's Barrymore or at Color Me Val. Don't you go away, we have so much more lined up.